Wozni, and this Sun City Republican Club rocks, and I just want to thank you. 2022 is a big year for us, and we want to keep Texas red. And we're going to need your help to do it. Our job in this club is to get as many candidates here as possible so that you can meet them. It's very different looking somebody in the eye, hearing them speak, than it is getting a mailer through the mail, going to a website, listening to a commercial. So we are working hard to bring these people to Sun City. I want to thank the two people who really made tonight possible, Kathy Cody and Jean Edwards, who is still out there. I broke my shoulder in November, so these two have really stepped up to help, and I couldn't have pulled this off without them. So a sincere appreciation from this club, from Sun City, and thank you for all you do. I also want to thank our constable and ask him to stand, Matt Lindeman. Where is Matt? Here he is, down here. Matt is the constable for Precinct 3, and for all of you newcomers, we are in Precinct 3, and he has agreed to be our sergeant at arms for our club. So thank you, Matt. We're not going to have a regular business meeting tonight because it's all about Governor Abbott. On Wednesday, next week, we have 3 candidates coming. Boy, that makes a difference, doesn't it, to turn off that fan? Thanks. We have Louis Gomert, Eva Guzman, and George P. Bush, who is the land commissioner, for a forum. And I hope to see all of you here on Wednesday. Ken Paxton was invited. He's a busy guy. And he said, I am not doing forums. So he won't be here, but the other 3 will be here, and I hope you're here as well. For elected officials and candidates, bring your signs and campaign materials next Wednesday. If you have an opponent in the primary, you'll have a table. But I need to know, or Kathy Cody needs to know. Some of you have reached out and indicated, yes, I need a table. But again, I just want people to meet these candidates and shake their hand and ask questions. We're also going to have several just casual meet and greets at Mulligan's this year so that you can meet local candidates. And same thing, it makes all the difference to shake somebody's hand, look them in the eye, and ask them a question or tell them what's really important to you. That's what counts, and that's why we're here. So right now, I'd like to invite and welcome Governor Abbott and Mr. Saul Anuzis to the riser.
Governor, good to see you, friend. Good to see you. You
Welcome.
doing all right?
I am.
You feeling okay?
Broken shoulder and all.
You're looking good.
Thank you for that warm welcome. If you would remain standing, thank you. We're going to have an invocation and do the pledges. So if you would bow your heads with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight humble, and on bended knee. We ask you to light our path. We ask you to bless those in uniform, serving here, at home, and across the globe. We ask you to bless their families. We ask you to bless those in elected office. And we also ask you to bless their families. We ask you to bless this group tonight. And in your name, we all say, amen. If you will join me with the pledge to the United States flag and then the Texas flag. I have a broken shoulder, so I only have one good arm. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. And with that, I'm going to introduce the other gentleman who's on the stage with me. You can sit, yes. Mr. Saul Anusis is president of a group called 60 Plus, the American Association of Senior Citizens, and he's one of us. Has a long history of being a national leader in the conservative grassroots movement. Please welcome to the Sun City Republican Club, Mr. Saul Anusis.
Well, all right, now first things first.
Yeah, good arm. That's the good one.
There we go. All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Kathleen and the Sun City Club for letting me come here today. The 60 Plus Association is one of the conservative groups in Washington, D.C. We're basically considered the conservative alternative to ARP. And what we basically do is promote public policy that is fiscally responsible to basically stand up for seniors and fight for Social Security, Medicare, and other issues. And what we wanted to do is we also support and point out the good work that many of our governors and legislators around the country do. And here in Texas, you guys have a very unique situation. I've known Governor Abbott now for several years, and he's really been very accessible and very willing to sit down and talk about issues and really does make an effort to represent seniors. And I was flying in here today from Washington, actually, and as I flew over, I was thinking of all the people from California, Illinois, New York who are moving in here because of the great work the governor and the rest of you here in Texas are doing. And I just hope they leave their voting patterns back there and remember why they're moving to Texas. So what I wanted to do is on behalf of over 5 million conservative senior activists around the country, present Governor Abbott with our award, the Guardian of Senior Rights Award, for standing up for senior citizens in Texas and leading the way with good public policy that really does make a difference for the citizens of the great state of Texas. Governor, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And with that, Governor, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Saul, that's fabulous. Welcome to Texas. Make sure that you keep your conservative values right here. Also, I want to thank Kathleen. Kathleen, thank you very much for your comments earlier, but also thank you for your leadership out here. It's an honor to be here with the Sun City Republicans. Now, obviously, the main reason why I'm here is to talk about exactly what Kathleen said in her first sentence tonight. And that is, we have one goal, and that is to keep Texas red by winning this November. I am going to, over the course of my remarks, explain to you exactly how we are going to ensure Republican victories up and down the ballot this next November. But first, here tonight in Sun City, I am announcing for the very first time policy programs that we are rolling out that focus on seniors in Texas. Listen, the fact of the matter is we all know how great Texas is. Saul talked about how great Texas is. The people who laid the groundwork for Texas exceptionalism are the people among our seniors across the entire state of Texas. As a result, we want to, of course, thank and express our gratitude to seniors in Texas, but we also want to deliver for them promises and results that will help them over the course of their lives to decrease their cost of living, to make their safety even better, and to improve accessibility to senior programs. I'm going to outline those things. However, before I go into that announcement, I want to recap just a few things that we've done recently for seniors. For one, to make sure you know about it, but for another, there is an action requirement on your part to make sure this tremendous benefit to you occurs. First, let me tell you this, and that is twice under my administration, we have increased the homestead property tax exemption, reducing the property tax burden on Texans across our entire state. Now, here's the big one. The big one is, in a special session over this past year, I called for more property tax relief for all Texans, but in particular seniors. And as a result, that passed out of the legislature, but it's going to be a constitutional amendment. This constitutional amendment will be on the ballot in May, and you will want to make sure you go vote for this constitutional amendment, which I feel confident will pass. However, I do not want anybody here not to go vote for this. And there's a financial reason for you to make sure you go vote for it, because here's what happens. If this constitutional amendment passes in May, your school property taxes, and if you know anything about your property taxes, the largest component for most of you is your school property taxes. So if this amendment passes, your school property taxes will go down every year going forward. Instead of just being a freeze, your property taxes will be going down if you go out and go vote to get this passed. In addition to that, just some other things that we have done before I get into what I want to announce tonight. In addition, we have increased protection for our seniors from both physical as well as financial abuse, unfortunately, both of which occur. We passed the 3 strikes nursing home law, which makes it easier to revoke a nursing home's license if abuse or neglect occurs. And we enhanced reporting of financial exploitation of seniors, giving them greater protection against fraud and abuse. We also achieved a whole lot more for our seniors that I could recount. I could go on all night, but I'm going to limit what we've done in the past there, because I want you to know that one of the reasons why I am running for re-election as your governor is to deliver even more results for seniors right here in the great state of Texas. So tonight I'm here in Sun City to announce for the first time that I'm running to deliver a compact with Texas seniors to lower the cost of living, to increase your safety, and to improve your services. Let me go through what is in this compact. One relates to something I mentioned earlier before, and that's something very unfortunate that we see occur in this country. And that is, there is a rise in elder abuse, whether it's physical or financial. And that is unacceptable. And we will not allow elder abuse to occur in Texas, period. Under this compact, Texas will increase penalties for crimes committed against seniors, not only for violent crimes, but for scams and schemes that target seniors. We will give the Texas Attorney General the authority to pursue and to prosecute criminals who prey on seniors in Texas. Another part of the compact does even more for your property taxes. While we have made great strides in Texas to reduce property taxes, this compact does more to protect senior homeowners. As you probably know, seniors currently have an extra $10,000 homestead exemption if they apply for it. The fact is, too many seniors are either don't know about it or they don't know how to go about the process of applying for it. We want to fix all that very simply. Under my compact, the state of Texas would automatically enroll all senior homeowners to receive the additional homestead exemption without you having to do anything yourself. And then get the details of this property tax relief. So as you know, senior Texans already have a freeze on their school district property taxes. My compact further reduces your property taxes by also freezing county property taxes. This would cap the county property tax at the current level for the rest of your lives. This will ensure that no senior is going to be taxed out of their home. This compact that we're all going to sign here later on tonight, it will also help seniors with the cost of living. The compact reduces fees on things like vehicle registration fees, hunting and fishing license fees. And we will also establish a website to provide a one-stop location for state and local discounts for seniors across the entire state. Along those same lines, many seniors are not taking advantage of the programs and services that Texas already offers, not because they don't want to, but because they simply do not know about the programs. So under my compact, Texas is going to expand the 211 hotline to increase awareness about all the services that are available for Texas seniors in our great state. I am running for re-election to do more than has ever been done to help the greatest generation in the Lone Star State. Thank you for what you have done. We're going to be signing that compact after I get through with my remarks, but I want to, before I conclude, want to go back to what I said and explain to you exactly why and how we are going to win in 2022. The process is very simple. We are going to contrast Republican values with Democrat values. And the truth is, it's never been easier than before. Yeah. I guess you already know the answer. I mean, part of it is this, and that is they used to be Democrats. Then they were liberals. Then they were progressives. Now they tell you who they really are. They are socialist. Republicans are running against socialists. And let me tell you something. We will not let these big government leftists employ their radical agenda to destroy the great state of Texas. We will crush them in November. Let's talk about that contrast a little bit, because one of the things, for reasons I have no idea, Beto is talking about jobs in the economy. And look at where Texas is as we gather today. Texas is the national leader for jobs in the economy. Let me just give you a couple of metrics. For every year that I've been governor of the great state of Texas, Texas has been ranked the #1 state in the United States as the best state for doing business. Every year that I've been governor, Texas has been ranked the #1 state in America for the most new economic development projects. But importantly, our focus has not just been limited to large businesses. It's also focused on these small businesses, which comprise most businesses in our state. As we gather tonight, Texas is ranked #1 in the United States as the best state in America to start a small business. And even during the challenges that we've had over the past year and a half, Texas has climbed the international rankings economically Before COVID, Texas, if it were its own country, we would have had the 10th largest economy in the entire world. It's no longer true because as of tonight, Texas now has the 9th largest economy in the entire world. So who did we pass? We passed Brazil. And so Texas has a larger economy than Brazil, a larger economy than our neighbors, Canada and Mexico, a larger economy than Australia, and Texas has a larger economy than Russia. And that makes me more powerful than Putin. But let's take all these numbers and make them more tangible for the lives of Texans. Here are the real results because of our jobs in our economy. As we gather tonight, there are now more Texans with a job than ever before in our history. And for Williamson County, more people in Williamson County have a job than ever before in the history of our great state. Our jobs in the economy are going great. The only thing that Beto and the Democrats would do would be to destroy all those jobs. And one of the most prolific ways they would destroy those jobs is with this socialistic program of the Green New Deal that is backed by Beto and the other Democrats. Hundreds of thousands of jobs in the state of Texas are energy-based jobs, energy jobs that made America energy independent. And we are not going to allow radical leftists to come to the state of Texas and to destroy our energy jobs. I'm running for re-election to protect energy jobs in Texas. Education is another area where the radical leftists have begun to take over, even in Texas. You've seen a lot of this on TV, and maybe you have seen local news about it. Radical leftists who have invaded our schools with, candidly, indoctrination of our children in the form of, among other things, critical race theory. And it is unacceptable. That's why during the regular session, the legislature passed a ban on critical race theory in some subjects in some grades, and I signed it. However, I said, I'm going to sign this, but it did not go far enough, and I put it back on the special session agenda to get what I wanted to get. And I got it, and I signed it. After the special session, Texas now has a ban on the teaching or use of critical race theory in every grade of public school, in every subject. I think it's the strongest ban on critical race theory of any state in the United States. But we need to come to grips with the most important aspect about education. We need to understand the reality that no government program can replace the role that parents play in educating our children. So I am running for governor to bolster a parent's Bill of Rights that restores parents as the primary decision maker of their child's education and health issues. Parents matter, and we will protect parents' rights. These radical leftist ideologies that are promoted by people from Beto all the way down the ballot also endanger our communities. One of the ways that we've seen that across America, but also, unfortunately, even here in Texas, is with this radical, idiotic idea of thinking that defunding the police is a good idea. We've seen it in maybe predictable places like Portland and Seattle, Chicago and New York. You saw it in Minneapolis, where the mayor is now begging to have the police come back. And candidly, every place where they've defunded police, the mayor's been coming out begging for the police to come back. And as I heard echoes out here, as we all know, one of the offenders was Austin, Texas. And the result was extremely predictable. Surely you've seen the news of what happened in Austin, Texas this past year. They set a record, which is not the kind of record we want set. Austin set a record this past year for a record number of murders. Crime occurs in communities that do not embrace, support, and use law enforcement to keep your community safe. That is exactly why I promoted and got passed and signed a law that will defund any city that defunds police in Texas. In Texas, we support our law enforcement officers, period. But another way in which your public safety is challenged, even here in Williamson County, is challenged because of Joe Biden's open border policies that Beto and the Democrats are embracing. And they've been catastrophic with regard to the gangs, the cartels, the human trafficking, and importantly, the fentanyl that's coming across the border. I thought I heard somebody say the word drugs, and there are drugs, most deadly of which is fentanyl. And you haven't heard about this, you need to know about it, you need to talk to your family about it. I've had personal friends die of it. I will tell you this, more people died in 2021 because of fentanyl than because of COVID, car crashes, or cancer. It's deadly and it's dangerous. Texas officials alone have seized enough fentanyl, by the way, just 2 milligrams of fentanyl, smaller than 2 grains of salt. 2 milligrams of fentanyl is a deadly dose. And we have seized enough fentanyl in Texas to kill every man, woman, and child in Texas, California, Illinois, New York, and Florida combined. This is deadly and dangerous. And the people who are stopping it are our Texas Department of Public Safety officers and the National Guard that I have deployed down to help secure our border. Because the Biden administration is not just not doing its job, the Biden administration is not enforcing the laws passed by Congress concerning immigration. Texas is stepping up to do what the federal government should be doing. Texas legislature appropriated $3 billion for Texas to secure the border. That includes the funding of 10,000 National Guard and additional Texas Department of Public Safety officers to help secure the border. But it does so much more because one thing they do focus on seizing those deadly drugs like fentanyl. But they also crack down on the horrific, inhumane crime of human trafficking. I signed this past session 15 laws cracking down on human trafficking in Texas. We must work together as a state to eradicate any human trafficking or exploitation of women and children in this state and end human trafficking as we know it. And now, Texas is building its own border wall. The wall is going up. So let me tell you about the wall, because we should be proud about the progress that we've made. Remember, obviously, President Trump, he campaigned on it, and he promised it, and he delivered building the border wall. From the time he took office until the time the wall began to go up, it took about 1.5 years, maybe close to 2 years. I signed the original documentation for Texas to begin building the border wall in June of last year. In 6 months after that, in December of last year, the border wall began going up in the Rio Grande Valley. There are 2 segments of the wall going up right now. One looks identical to the wall that the federal government was putting up because we're using the same contractor that was used by the federal government. One reason why we're able to go faster and candidly at a lower cost is because, in part, we have the same contractors. We're not having to reinvent the wheel. We can use materials they may have already had and the schemes they already have. Another reason why we can do it faster and cheaper is one thing Trump had to do. He had to acquire the land on which to build a border wall. Some of the land we're building the border wall on is owned by the state of Texas, and so we've already acquired that. The other, however, there are so many people who own massive areas of land on the border itself who are so angry about the border situation. As angry as you are, they are having to deal with these people pouring across the border every day. And they are letting us have their land and give us an easement on their land for us to build a border wall without us having to condemn their land or take their land. We're able to obtain that land either for free or at a much discounted price of what President Trump was able to do. So our ability to move faster and at a lower cost is going to help us build more wall quicker. Bottom line is I am running for re-election to ensure that Texas will continue to secure our border and keep Texas communities safe. One last thing that you need to understand, and hopefully you'll comprehend the magnitude of what the issue really means. And that is, as much as safety is an issue, as much as your safety is on the ballot itself, you need to also understand this. Freedom itself is on the ballot. The freedoms that are guaranteed in the United States Constitution are on the ballot. As your governor, I have fought for your constitutional rights that are guaranteed by the United States Constitution. But Beto has threatened every step of the way your constitutional rights. Let me mention the First Amendment. Beto has threatened to remove the tax-exempt status of churches that refuse to bow down to the woke radical agenda. That's how extreme he is. And do I really need to tell you what his position is on the Second Amendment? Let me just tell you this. I have signed 20 laws protecting your Second Amendment rights. And I have one message for the liberals. I am running for governor to ensure that your right to keep and bear arms will never be infringed in the great state of Texas. Let me just close with a very, very short story. It's a short story that candidly reminds me of what I can tell is the attitude and the environment of the people in this room tonight. Y'all are patriots. You believe in America. You love America. As much as you love America, some of you may even love Texas a little bit more. I was taking a campaign trip up to Paris, Texas, that is. If you don't know where Paris, Texas is, it's on the Red River. And by God, when we're done building the wall on the Rio Grande, we're going to build a wall on the Red River too. But I was up in Paris, Texas, and I landed at the airport there. And the airport there is very, very small. When you leave the airport, you're driving out into a neighborhood. And as you're driving through that neighborhood, which is just a small 2-lane street, one thing I observed immediately on each side of the street was an American flag, just like what you have on your jacket right there. You got an American flag on your jacket. Others of you probably have the American flag on you tonight. Every single house, on the right and on the left, they were flying an American flag. We turned left to go into downtown Paris, and as we were in downtown Paris, traditional town square, every store in the town square had an American flag. The point is simple. These folks are patriotic just like you're patriotic, just like so many people in so many other communities across our state are patriotic, because we do love what is the greatest country in the history of the entire world. But if we are going to achieve what Kathleen articulated at the very beginning tonight, if we are going to ensure we keep Texas red, I need you to come to grips with what I'm about to tell you. You need to fully comprehend there are people running for governor as well as other offices on the ballot who do not love the America that you love, who want to redesign the United States of America, who do not like Texas the way it is. They want to redesign the state of Texas. We cannot let these radicals destroy our great state or our country. The fight to win Texas and to save America begins tonight in Williamson County and continues every single day until November, and we will crush the Democrats in November and keep Texas the greatest state in the history of our great country. God bless you all, and God bless our great state and country. Thank you all. Your hat. Do you want to do it up here? We'll do it right there. No, we're going to make it easy for the crowd. So here we have. You can sit down. This won't take long, though. But here's the deal. I told you what I was going to do. A promise becomes more concrete when you sign it, and even more concrete when you sign it in front of, 500 very Republican people here in the state of Texas. And so I'm going to sign this, but we also have two witnesses to my signature that we have here right now. And so I'm going to put the mic down, and I will be the first to sign the compact with Texas seniors and my commitment to doing the things I outlined tonight. There's my John Hancock right there.
After the shoulder, oh, it's off.
It's off. So, there you go. There you go.
Signed, sealed, and delivered. Contact with our seniors.
I want to